I'm happiest in the saddle.
A fellow sportsman.
I am an FBI agent!
Great Scott!
What do you say we cut the chit-chat? A-hole!
Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Come with me if you want to live.
Welcome to Retro Ramble. Charlie McGee here. George and I just wanted to say a few words about Carl Weathers, who unfortunately left us recently. George, what do you want to say? I mean, a big actor throughout a lot of the films that we've covered. He was still knocking them out with The Mandalorian. It's been very, very tough news.
Well, yeah, he's someone that's popped up on quite a few of our the biggest films of our youth, of the Retro Ramble canon. We've covered a lot of his stuff. We've waxed lyrical about him, and yeah, it feels. People have said, even Sly himself said, we've lost a legend, and I think Arnie said the same thing, that it seems like he was a genuine gentleman in real life, and everyone's got all these amazing stories about him. But yeah, it's just he had quite a career. I was posted. We've started doing little actors and directors' birthday shout outs on our socials, and we only recently it was only his birthday back in January, and so yeah, I was thinking then, Christ, he's had a career that's been over 50 years. He's been working since the 70s, and whilst that was started off with some small bit parts, but obviously got his big break in Rocky. Been loads of all the stars and directors have been pouring out, their words of condolence. And I think the one that really hit me, that almost had me in tears, was Stallone's, tribute to him. It basically said, made him, when he met him, he pushed him every step of the way. Like Carl Weathers made Stallone a better actor, is what Stallone's saying. And he's saying you couldn't have the Rocky legacy without him. And you think about it, even with Creed, that is based on Carl Weathers' character, even though he's not in it. You couldn't have the Creed without his performance.
You and me, we don't even have a choice. See, we're born with a killer instinct that you can't just turn off and on like some radio. We have to be right in the middle of the action because we're the warriors. And without some challenge, without some damn war to fight, then the warrior may as well be dead, Stallion.
They definitely missed an opportunity, I'm thinking now. Maybe I've been watching too much Star Wars recently, but I really think Creed could have done with an Apollo Force Ghost. Even if it was just in Rocky's, maybe Rocky's got dementia in the third film, be like, or the second film, just to have him talking to him. But he was such an amazing part of that franchise. And I think, this came up when we were talking about Action
Jackson.
The fact that his acting was put front and center. Was he good enough to be a leading man? Can he drive a car through a house? He can do anything. But the thing that had always come before him was his size, was his physique, was his athleticism, and it was there in, obviously there in Rocky, and then in Predator, the most iconic handshake of all time. Arnie had put that as his.
No, I think Arnie put that, and a lot of people have. Obviously, it's such an iconic, image of 80s cinema or of action cinema. It's important to note that before he was an actor, he was a professional footballer, American football player, and that's why he's like his physique, as you say. Watching him in, recently rewatched Action Jackson, and there's that scene where he comes out the shower and he's just glistening.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh my God, he's such a unit. He's so well stacked.
And the whole thing about the flamethrower, at the end when he's got his chest out, he's just like, how could any of them? There's some puny little white guy, and just he would destroy you, tear you apart. So yeah, all the way through his career, all the way through the 80s. And it popped up on our Patreon episode, Revelations. We never got round to watching Action Jackson, but we knew about it. He was there throughout Rocky. And then he would pop up again in the 90s. You were like, it's Apollo. He's there in Happy Gilmore.
Well, he's had like a few career resurgences. So yeah, there was obviously the Rocky Predator stage. Then I think he got into a bit of TV. But yeah, there was Happy Gilmore, which is obviously one of our favorite comedies of all time.
Back in 1965, Sports Illustrated said I was going to be the next Arnold Palmer.
Yeah, what happened?
They wouldn't let me play on the Pro Tour anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry. Because you're black?
Hell no. Damned alligator bit my hand off.
Oh my God!
Yeah, tournament down in Florida. I hooked my ball in the rough down by the lake. Damned alligator just popped up. Cut me down in my prime. He got me. But I tore one of that bastard's eyes out, though. Look at that.
I think he did, a few Adam Sandler movies over the years. And then, obviously, again, reinventing himself with Arrested Development.
Which was like they created this medium with no laughter whatsoever in a hilarious, which was very new at the time. I want to say Arrested Development was one of the first comedies to kill the canned laughter. It probably wasn't, but it was the first successful one to do it. And he was like, oh yeah, I've got a character for that. And it was like, what are you going to do? I'm just going to do my thing.
Well, have you heard that the story behind it? Because apparently they were like, oh yeah, wouldn't it be great to get, when they pitched the idea, they were going to pitch the idea to him, they were like, oh, we want someone to like work with Tobias, and we'll just do the parody of the Rocky montage where they're like training on the beach and it's very homoerotic, and they get Carl Weathers to do it. And then they went to meet Carl Weathers and they're like, oh, we'd like to have you playing yourself in the show. And he's like, it's not going to be just a bunch of Rocky jokes, is it? And they were like, And Carl Weathers suggests, he goes, I tell you what would be really funny if I just played myself and I'm a complete cheapskate. Wouldn't that be funny? And they were like, would you be okay with that? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. And so it was his idea to be, this complete, like, the running joke is he's just really cheap.
You got yourself, what are you doing throwing that food away? Take those bones home, put them in some hot water, you got yourself a stew.
Got yourself a stew, baby.
Mr. Weathers, I don't know. Perhaps my wife was right. I don't know if I'm cut out to be a De Niro or a Regis or a Pinkett Smith or a what have you.
Whoa. Tobias, dreams are worth fighting for. Now, are you going to be a fighter? Or are you going to be a doctor?
You're right, Carl Weathers. I should just march into that restaurant where my wife works and tell her...
Your wife works in a restaurant? Do they get a shift meal or do they just pay half price on select menu items?
And then, of course, I feel like it was the victory lap with The Mandalorian, which is the biggest purse in Hollywood, comes knocking and gives you a role in, I think, undoubtedly probably the best Star Wars asset since Rogue One.
Yeah.
And he's carried it. And
he was a key part of it. Whilst he's not, he's in some of the action scenes, but he's a very important part of the Mandalorian's character.
Because Mando, he came up with the T. He was the first guy to call him Mando. He's the first person to set him on his way, and he keeps coming back to the story. Sorry if you've not seen Mandalorian, but it's worth it. If you don't like Star Wars, it's got Carl Weathers with a beautiful white beard.
Yes, he's looking majestic in his old age.
So I want a bigger statue of him. Is it Reese Cargo, whatever his title is?
Grief Cargo.
I want them to write in his loss into the story. Come on, it'll take you 5 minutes. Come on, Kathleen Kennedy, pull your finger out.
But yeah, I think it's also important to mention that he was an accomplished director. So yeah, he directed a few episodes of The Mandalorian, but before that, he directed episodes of Law and Order, Chicago Med, and he was on the board of the Directors Guild of America. So he was an accomplished director as well as, whilst it was, TV. It's I think that a lot of people will all say, oh yeah, Predator, Rocky, and Star Wars, but it's what he did behind the camera as well.
Yeah, so it's obviously thoughts go out to everybody who's close to him, who'll miss him, but his legacy, he'll live on forever in celluloid on our DVDs, on our films. He's been such a big part of our upbringing. He's been in so many big films, and who else? We wouldn't have I don't think, as Stallone has come out and said, if you didn't have somebody like him screaming, come on, Stallion, in your ear, we wouldn't have had the Stallone films. And I think it was exactly what cinema needed at that time. And I'm glad we've got those films. So I just want to say big thank you to Carl.
Yes, absolutely. No, he was an absolute legend. And yet, as I say, it seems like from everyone that's talking about all the people that worked with him closely, just said he was an absolute gentleman. And he was just, from his stuff that he put out on social media, he was always pushing for positivity on social, whereas, obviously social media can be a very toxic place. He was also, he seemed to be very human and, I say, always very positive on social media. So it's something like that Arnie's trying to do. He's trying to turn the internet into, well, he calls it, Arnie's thing is the positive corner of the internet. And yeah, I say it's worth checking out some of the condolences from Arnie, from Stallone. Giancarlo Esposito had some nice things to say about him. Definitely feels like we've lost him even though he was 76. It feels like we've lost him a little bit early. Could have had
it does feel a little bit like it would have been. Yeah, it is what it is, but we definitely lost a legend.
But I'm also very glad that we discovered the beauty that is Action Jackson recently as well.
And I think, if you want to celebrate his life, obviously there's Rocky, obviously there's Predator, which George and I go back to frequently, but Action Jackson is brilliant. And
if you want the 100% Carl show, it's Action Jackson.
And that was a lot of fun to do. So, okay, we wanted to say something. Felt we needed to. Very big actor to us. Very big actor to the industry. Just thank you and God bless,
Thank you, Carl. We will miss you.
Yeah. Okay, so catch you next time. Charlie McGee signing off.
George McGee signing off. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Shut up, Happy. Don't feel bad about me. I got my hand back, see? We've only just begun to live. White lace and promises, a kiss for luck, and we're